So, Houston. Yeah, we have a problem. This is the official trailer for the new live-action Snow White movie, which comes out in March 2025. I'm not sure the exact date. I don't care because I'm not watching this movie. You're probably wondering why. Why am I talking about this movie in particular? Well, as you can see, this movie got a million dislikes on the trailer. So, a million dislikes, and the movie hasn't even come out yet. Now, this makes no sense at all to me, because this is just a movie trailer. Like, we have no idea what the plot's about. Like, it just tells us little bits and pieces about the story. Now, guys, this is a Disney live-action remake. We've had a lot of those lately. Like a lot. Okay, pretty much all their princess movies have been turned back into live action. Now, the problem with this is that Disney absolutely sucks at this. Like, they are really bad at remaking live action. Like, this company has lost everything it stood for. All those great classics that they used to make have just been utterly destroyed. So, why is this happening? Well, guys, this is why I'm putting off my biology homework, to explain to you guys what is the problem with live action remakes. So buckle up, because we are going away from the topics of movie reviewing and venturing off into the depths of what I like to call an informative... Now, when it comes to the term of live-action remakes, we will only be going into Disney's live-action remakes because, I mean, they're the ones who do it the most. Because, yeah, if we talk about the other studios, for example, DreamWorks is making a live-action How to Train Your Dragon, and that looks phenomenal. It looks like they're not going to fail there. But Disney is another company we need to talk about because they keep messing this formula up. And it's for two big reasons, actually. In fact, the first one I like to call nostalgia overload. When a movie is made, like back in the day when a movie was made, right? Like, let's go back. The first Spider-Man movie. That movie had, well, Spider-Man, had Green Goblin, it had characters in that film that were used for the first time. All right, and that was in 2002. Now, fast forward to, let's say, 2021, when Spider-Man No Way Home was made. Some of those characters were brought back, like their original characters were brought back in a newer film. That is what we call nostalgic, because it's something old, but now it's like we're reliving the good times. Because let's say you were a teenager in 2002 when you saw that first Spider-Man movie, and now you're like a grown man with your own kids, and you take your kid to the movie theater to show them that same Spider-Man you used to watch when you were a kid. It just makes you feel good, because you're like, oh, wow, I used to watch that when I was a kid. Like, I don't know, if I was to ever go back in the future, if they ever make, like, some Paw Patrol remake movie, I'm probably going to be like, oh, man, I used to watch that when I was a kid, right? Now, when it comes to nostalgia overload, that is when it is overused too much. Like, when the nostalgia becomes, well, overused. Like, it becomes the backbone of how you, like, survive as a movie company. So Disney, they've made a lot of classics that we love. Let's go. Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. Like, I could go on forever. All of these are classics that maybe my mother used to watch when she was a kid. I didn't grow up with those. But then, of course, I still watch them, so I still feel nostalgic kind of towards it. But now, when a live-action remake is created, one of the reasons why they are created so much is because they're trying to be like, oh, since it's nostalgic, people will probably be coming to the theater because they're like, oh, I watched that when I was a kid, so it's time to watch it again with my own kids. And I'll admit, sometimes it works. Lion King made $1 billion. Wow. But sometimes it doesn't work, like Peter Pan and Wendy. That was a horrendous movie. But that sometimes nostalgia overload isn't exactly what we want, because, well, let's take Marvel, for instance. They just made Deadpool and Wolverine. Something nostalgic about that movie is they brought back, okay, spoiler warning in 3, 2, 1. They brought back characters like the old Blade from the 2000s, Elektra. What was it? They brought back the old Hugh Jackman came back as Wolverine for the first time since, 2018. But still, he's a nostalgic character. These were all nostalgic characters that appeared in this movie. So people will go into the theaters like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen this character in so long. It's so good to see it again. See, Marvel's good at nostalgia. They do it. They don't base their entire thing off nostalgia bait, but they always put a little bit of nostalgia in the film. That's why it's kind of enjoyable. But Disney, they just use it too much, because I feel like all of their last movies have been remakes or sequels. Where's the creativity? Where's the imagination? The things that back in 2000, there used to be a new movie every year. There was Toy Story, Cars. Okay, all of this is Pixar, but still, it's Disney Pixar. Toy Story, Cars. There was WALL-E. There was Monsters, Inc. Look at all this. This was all creativity. This is what they used to have, and that's why we used to watch their movies. And now look where we've gotten. We've got movies like this. And this. Absolutely horrendous. I can't do this anymore. It's an overload. Does that make sense now? Moving on to another term I like to call cash grab. In the official Screen Kid dictionary for movies, cash grab is defined as a movie made for the bucks, the dollars, the moolah, the dollar bucks, the golden doubloons. It's just money. It's just when a movie is remade just for money, or when a sequel happens just for money, and specifically when it's unnecessary. When a sequel is made, and okay, let's say the first movie, for example, let's say the first movie number 1 makes $1 gazillion, right? And that movie ends on a cliffhanger, and then they make a sequel. That's not a cash grab. That's just making a sequel because a sequel was needed. And also, okay, every movie company does this for the money. I don't think any movie company genuinely cares about the audience. For DreamWorks, it may seem that way because they have been cooking lately. But when it comes to other studios, it kind of looks like they're just in it for the money. Now, you can be in it for the money, like it can be 60% money, 40%, let's do this for the world, you know? That's how I feel DreamWorks does it. Maybe like 60 money, 40% fans. Because their movies look like there's time and effort put into them. And then they make money because we watch them and we enjoy them. But when it comes to Disney, lately it just feels like they just want their money back. Like, I don't think there's been a good Disney film since, April. But, realistically, Disney is falling off. It's hard to believe, but yes, they are falling off. Yes, they just made Inside Out 2, which almost made $2 billion. I don't know how, but still, they are falling off because they keep making cash grabs. Let's go to an example number 1. Toy Story 4. Now, this movie came after Toy Story 3, which was, I think, one of the most satisfying endings to a film ever. Now, I'm not a fan of Toy Story 3 as much as the entire world is. I still think it was a good conclusion to the Toy Story franchise, and that should have been it. Like, right there. They should have ended it right there and said, this was the last Toy Story movie, yada, yada, yada. They didn't do that. Toy Story 4 was announced in, 2016, I think, and then they made this masterpiece. Now, why do I call it a cash grab, even though it was a masterpiece? Well, Toy Story 3 ended the franchise. I think it ended everything right there. Andy went off to college. The toys were now with a new owner. I think that was good right there. That we didn't have to know more. But they still made the 4th movie. While it was unnecessary, it was still fantastic. I'm sure you all agree that, we could have been fine without Toy Story 4. Yes, it's a good movie, but it wasn't needed. And they only made it because Toy Story 3 made $1 billion. Okay, Toy Story 4 also made $1 billion, but you see what I'm saying? It wasn't necessary, and therefore, I really didn't feel like it was needed. And therefore, I didn't like it as much. Okay, fine, I love this movie, but I'm losing the point. This was a cash grab, but it was a good cash grab, is what I'm trying to say. But what is an example of a bad cash grab? Every single Disney princess live-action remake, except for Aladdin, which I think is one of the greatest films maybe ever. I will die on the hill that it is a perfect film. You disagree with me? All right, fine. Come on the hill. Come on the hill and fight me. I will destroy you because this movie was absolutely perfect. Anyways, every single other one, though, is actually bad. I didn't like it that much. But the problem with Disney is that they make money. It's unfortunate, but it's true. The only time they make money is when it's an absolutely horrible film. I'm looking at you, Lightyear. You know what you did, and you are going to pay for it one day. But the problem with the other films is that they made money. They somehow made lots of money. So the reason why Disney keeps doing this is because sometimes these films just get us into theaters. Yes, Beauty and the Beast, I think it was pretty average, but yes, it made $1 billion. Cinderella made half a billion. It doesn't make sense. These movies are either mid or terrible, or a cinematic masterpiece like Aladdin. There's no in between. And then when it makes money, Disney's like, oh, we just made a lot of money. Let's make it again. And then when it doesn't make money, they're like, this one didn't make money, but I think we have one last chance, so let's try this one more time, and then it makes money. What is this luck? What is this luck? So the problem with this is that I can't get over the fact that I think every Disney Princess remake was a cash grab. Except for, I think in the beginning, it was just trying to, like, bring the magic back for, like, Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. Those were decent, and I feel like those were fine. But when we got to the point of, like, making, well, let's go, Peter Pan and Wendy, Dumbo, Lady and the Tramp, Mulan. Okay, Mulan was good. Then it started to feel like, okay, you don't care about us anymore. You care about your dollars. And so the dollars is, it doesn't really help us anymore. So now we can't even enjoy Disney remakes. And you know, it's only for one really simple reason of why these remakes are so bad. And it's really sad too. Because if they just changed it, they could be all awesome. Like Aladdin. They change everything. You want to know why Snow White has 1 million dislikes? Because they're changing absolutely everything with the story. Like, oh my goodness, like, let me just dive into Snow White real quick and and give you my thoughts. I think it looks fine. Like, overall, it just looks like a fine movie. It gave me a bit of Aladdin vibes, but nah, it's not going to compare to Aladdin. But this movie, they did so many things wrong. I admit, there's nothing wrong with the casting of Snow White. I know that's why some of you people had a problem with I don't have a problem with you. If you want someone who has a problem with it, go find another channel. But the only thing I have a problem with is Gal Gadot as Evil Queen. She's not a bad actor. She's just not the Evil Queen type actor. There were plenty of other castings we could have done for that. Plenty. But then, oh my goodness, they did so many things wrong. Like, they changed everything. They say it's not even going to be a love story. Okay, so then what's the point then? Every Disney princess movie is a love story. That's like the whole thing. You change that, you've changed the entire plot. Like, what's it going to be about? Is she gonna, I don't know, is she gonna get a cape, turn into Superman, and defeat Evil Queen herself? Wake herself up like she's Jesus or something? I don't know. I don't know what she's gonna do. And I'm very mad that they're changing these small but very important key things to the plot. Now, have they done this in other movies? Well, I mean, not really. But this is why Snow White is hated. And oh my goodness, don't even get me started on that new Lilo and Stitch thing. Stitch looks like oh my goodness, I don't even want to talk about it. That's another video. Disney is losing it, and they're losing it fast. And their live action remakes are going downhill fast. No one really liked Little Mermaid. I'm not really sure why I didn't watch it, because, well, I didn't feel like it. But, I know one key thing, but as I said, go find another channel if that's your point. I don't see why Disney keeps doing this when we say time after time after time, stop remaking things and give us something new. Something we want to see. Like Inside Out 2. That movie was so necessary to my childhood. Like, I needed that film. That film was so good. I can't wait to review it because that film changed my life, I think. I don't know. My life is still going, so we'll see. But that movie was great because we asked for it. We wanted a sequel to Inside Out. We were begging for it. What else do we want a sequel for? I think a Cars 4 is necessary. If there's a fourth movie out there somewhere that's needed, I think it's Cars 4. Cars 4 is necessary. I don't think Toy Story 5 is necessary. I also don't think Frozen 3 is necessary, nor was Frozen 2 necessary, but they're going to keep making it. Why? $1 billion! It's an instant $1 billion hit. That's what Frozen is. But then I also think Incredibles needs another sequel. Like, they took so long to get Incredibles 2, and I ruined the way I watched that. I'll talk about that next video, because that's our next video, Incredibles review. But Incredibles 3 is necessary. Both movies were great. Incredibles 2 made $1 billion. Why? Because it was a necessary, good movie. Why did Toy Story 3 make $1 billion? Because it was a necessary, good movie. Why did Frozen make $1 billion? Because it was a necessary, standalone film. And why did Frozen 2 make $1 billion? Because the first one was a necessary standalone film, and the second one was an unnecessary sequel that features this character. Seriously, if I make a movie featuring this character, I think I could make $1 billion. Probably not, but anyways. Disney is fading. Fading fast. DreamWorks has officially overtaken them. Like, after The Wild Robot, it's not even close anymore. DreamWorks is king right now, king of the world. Illumination will never pass them because they can't do anything besides Despicable Me. But Disney, they're falling off. They used to be the king of movies. Now, Bishop, I guess. And it's not just their live-action remakes that are the problem. They're losing money, just even from their animation side too, which used to be what made them who they were. Like, look at their last 3 original projects that came from their brains for once. They all failed. They were all terrible in my eyes. Like, my eyes. My sister thinks Wish was a cinematic masterpiece, but agree to disagree, am I right? But then right before that, we got Raya and the Last Dragon. And I will also die on that hill that is a pretty good movie. But Disney's losing it. They don't have the magic anymore. That's why, after Wish failed, they turned to Inside Out, made us Inside Out 2, got $1 billion just like that. So what I hope, and that's why at D23, Disney announced like pretty much every movie that was once good is getting a sequel. Why? They're losing money. But unfortunately, Disney can't get original anymore, and they're never going to make a good movie, a good original movie like WALL-E ever again. I mean, DreamWorks can. DreamWorks can make a nice original movie in their sleep. Look at the Wild Robot! So unfortunately, these live-action remakes are just going to keep happening until Disney gets back on their feet, I guess. But how many times do we have to get a atrocity like Peter Pan and Wendy before they realize, hey, we don't want this. We want stuff like Elio, which actually looks pretty nice, not gonna lie. Or we want sequels to movies that needed sequels. Zootopia 2, Incredibles 3, I've already said this. But I don't think Disney's gonna learn the lesson. You know what? Actually, scratch that. Disney will learn their lesson because Snow White is going to bomb so hard, and I think right after that, Lilo and Stitch will bomb so hard, and then the live-action Moana will probably make $1 billion. Then they'll make something else that will bomb so hard, and then they will finally learn their lesson. And it looks like it might even be starting now, because I mean, with the number of sequels coming out and that new Elio film and that Hoppers film that looks like it's coming out, it looks like Disney is finally getting back on track. And we might never have to see one of those hideous, but sometimes phenomenal, live-action remakes ever again. No. I thought we had more time. No, please. Destiny, why? Bob Iger, I hate you. Just quit. Just please fire yourself.